DNVR Bets Daily. It's RK and Professor Dre on a Tuesday. Hey.
Nice.
How you doing today?
Doing great, man. Couldn't be much better than this.
Look at that. It's your birthday.
Look at that. You guys.
Producer Allie coming through with the love for Dre.
Truly.
Happy
That's
birthday,
amazing.
Dre.
Thank you. Yep, getting older. And it's the first time that on my birthday I'm all these different factors in play on top of doing a daily podcast on betting with no sports and talking about the KBO. Had you told me that's how I would spend my 33rd birthday, I probably wouldn't have believed you.
33. You're a young guy, man. There you are.
It's all relative. There I am. And that's what I'll look like when I grow up. So I have that to look forward to.
You know, it's funny because no matter where we are, you're always going to be about 5 years older than me. But I remember when I met you, you were 29, would that be?
Yeah, or maybe slightly younger in that range. Maybe 28.
I think you were about to turn 30, and I was 24 or 25. And I just remember you saying that and me being like, whoa, that's old.
Yep.
But now I'm like, oh, you're 33, I'm 28, whatever. It's all, you know, it's all basically the same.
In fairness, at the time you were thinking that's so old because it didn't quite appear like I had everything together. You know, it was really like, what's this dude's deal? So, yeah.
Yeah, and since then, you know, you've become someone who bets on NASCAR and KBO, so I think you really have it together now.
That's right. I thought you were going with I've become the sage, wise one in the group, but not so much from the evidence you just presented.
No, I mean, you know
thank
what?
You to Chad.
You're, as Brandon put it so eloquently today, you're a huge part of the company, and you've done so much in your time here, and it's been pretty awesome. So, happy birthday, Dre.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you and our full DNVR extended family. So, thank you.
And for your birthday, we are going to talk about what was a glorious night for the. Oh no, it was quite the opposite of that. It was anything but a glorious night, as collectively, and there were some overlap in there, we win a solid 1-6.
Nope, not what you like to hear on a birthday Tuesday, that's for sure. My heart sank this morning when I saw the results, and it was all because the stupid dinos and the Wyverns, who I can't follow my own rules to not bet on the Wyverns, bit me because I said it was personal for me. The Wyverns said, well, here you go. Have a hot dish of revenge from them. The Wyverns amazingly have won 5 in a row. So please do not allow me to bet on them tonight. I beg you. Stop me.
No
terrible.
Wyverns tonight.
No Wyverns.
But man, how about my Twins getting shut out by the Samsung Lions? What kind of world are we living in here?
Unreal. 2-0 with Lions and Twins. Who would have seen that coming? Heroes smoke the Eagles. That was my 1W. Bears whiz off the charts. Yeah, and we really needed those Giants. We really needed the Giants to come through. All they can do is 2 runs. Unreal.
Truly unreal. Okay, well, we'll get to more KBO. We'll get a chance to redeem ourselves on the KBO later today. But we got some really interesting information from our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook today that I felt like was worth looking at. Actually, you felt like was worth looking at. I'm just saying that because I host the show, so it's easier for me to say it that way. Anyways, you felt was worth looking at. And we'll pull it up here. We'll go through a couple different things here, and it's really interesting what you're seeing. We've talked about how the public can move lines and whatnot, but I guess I'm going to start with what I find to be the most interesting one. So sorry if you were planning on us going in order here. I'm going all the way to the bottom here, Dre. Remember when we gave out Broncos 7.5 and we said the money is going to come in on this and it's going to send it up?
Yep.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the money has come in big time.
Yes.
I mean, big time. Andre, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, at DraftKings Sportsbook, 97% of the money is on the Broncos to go over 7.5 wins.
Crazy.
That is absurd. And it's making me scratch my head a little bit because there's a ton of risk involved there for DraftKings Sportsbook, yet the number still stands at 7.5. I want to know why they're not moving it up to try to get some more money coming in on the under, because unless they think the Broncos are trash and they're going to cash in a bunch of money on this under 7.5.
Right.
But man, 97% of the money on Broncos over 7.5. And usually you see more percentage of the bets when they're homer bets.
Right.
You see the bet percentage be a bit higher than the money percentage because, as we know, DraftKings is legal in 9 states. They have DraftKings Sportsbook. Maybe it's up to 13.
Okay.
Somewhere in that small number.
Yeah.
Usually, the states that have it are going to have more bets. The Golden Knights are going to get a ton of action in Vegas. Well, only 94% of the bets, which is still a massive amount. Only 94% of the bets are on the over. 97% of the money is on the over, which tells you that not only are there homer bets coming in, but the big money, the sharp money, as they would call it, is also coming in on the Broncos.
That's exactly right. It seems like the wise guys and the public are in agreement that the over 7.5 is where it's at. And I think it's in large part because of why we like the over here, because of Drew Lock, because of what our metrics say when you isolate the play of this team under their young quarterback, who we assume will be a lot better under much improved circumstances in this offense. You really think that the Broncos should be able to outperform that 7.5. So that's it's interesting that now the public and the wise guys, we're all coming together and everyone's in agreement here on the Broncos. Almost makes me a little weary,
It does. It scares me that they haven't bumped the number up yet to try and get money in on the under.
Right, because it's still even at -110 on both sides. So
exactly. A couple of the other ones just in there since we have the numbers in front of us. How about this one? Indianapolis Colts. Their over-under is set at 9, Andre, which is pretty high up there. 98% of the money on the over.
Bro.
98% of the money saying that the Colts are going to win 10 games?
I mean, I get it. The AFC South, they probably feel like the safest of the bunch, but geez, I just do not believe in Phillip Rivers that much.
You know what really annoys me?
Yeah.
Indiana is in the Midwest. They're in the Eastern time zone and they play in the AFC South. Where is it? Where is Indiana? No one can decide.
They're in the Big Ten, though, so that's another notch towards the Midwest.
It's a Midwest place. If you've ever been there, it feels like you're in the Midwest. Yet somehow Indianapolis is in the Eastern time zone, and somehow they play in the South. Anyways, I'm not saying I'm heavy crushing the under here, but 98% of the money being on the over is really surprising to me.
Yeah, especially at even money, I just don't see the value in that. A lot of these, when you go across the board here on some of the different lines, it's pretty evident why we're seeing more money and bet percentage being put on certain teams over others. It's clearly either the wise guys are saying this is a good value, or the wise guys and the public are in agreement that this is a good value bet, and that's why we're seeing those pumped up. Here on the Colts, I'm just not seeing great value at 9. Like I think the team's right around that, and they didn't get significantly better. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the easier division, but to see that large a disparity between the over and under is pretty shocking.
The New England Patriots, who honestly, for all we know, could have the worst quarterback in the NFL. There's nothing telling us for certain that Jarrett Stidham isn't going to be the worst quarterback in the NFL this year. In fact, the only thing we know about him is that he threw a pick 6 in his very short time on the field. So I'm not saying he's going to be, but I just want to point that out when I tell you that 91% of the money is on them to go over 8.5. We know nothing about their quarterback, except for that he was a 4th-round pick. What is happening?
No, that's crazy. I mean, and that's right. That is the problem with the Patriots is no matter what, on paper, you are taking a bottom 5 quarterback in the NFL. And I think that's maybe a conservative estimate. Bottom 3 might be even more accurate. But it's the Patriots. It's that defense. It's that coaching staff. And here we are seeing a bit of disparity where it's 80% of the bets are being placed on the over. So the public still likes the over more than the under. But 91% of the money's being placed on the over. So, the wise guys really like this. I've been so back and forth. I know we're kind of split here on the Patriots. You like that under more. I feel like I need to see it from the Bills and Dolphins before I believe anyone else can win the AFC East. Boy, they feel like a big stay away, but I am quite intrigued by how the wise guys seem to like the Patriots going over for 8.5. And look, that's the thing. With a bad quarterback, I do believe this team could win 9 wins, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the Broncos in 2016 came out there with Trevor Siemian, but they had a Super Bowl caliber roster around him, meaning they had just won the Super Bowl the year before. They won 9 games. It was a weird season.
Right.
The Patriots weren't a Super Bowl caliber team last year. They were
that's correct.
a okay team. They're a solid playoff team.
Right.
Now you took away their heart and soul. I just don't know how that team pulls off what the Broncos did in 2016. The other side of that, though, is the Broncos did that in 2016 on the back of a great defense, and that's one thing that we know that the Patriots are going to have. So I guess I could see it both ways. How about this one, though? And this will be the last one I point out because it's the largest discrepancy here. Philadelphia Eagles set at over/under 9.5.
Which is high.
It is high. 64% of the bets are on the over. 38% of the money is on the over. This is telling you the people are taking the over. The sharps are taking the under, and it's a huge difference there. Almost flip-flop the numbers. 38% is 38% of the money is on the over. 36% of the bets are on the under. So it's pretty much flip-flopping depending on whether you look at the money or the bets. I am a part-time Eagles fan or an honorary Eagles fan, and I don't like the over 9.5. It's just that division. It just cannibalizes itself every year, and 9-7 could win the division on any given season. I think that's what it was last year. If it wasn't 8-8 that won the division, so I think it was 9-7 though. 9-7 won the division on a tiebreaker. I've been vocal on this show as much as everyone hates this team. I think the Cowboys are going to be pretty damn good this year. And especially if they get Jamal Adams, which who knows if that actually happens.
Yeah.
But asking the Eagles to win 10 games is just a lot. So I kind of understand why the money's coming in on the under.
Yeah, I do too. And the Eagles are an interesting team because they're a team that's kind of supported in different states, and betting is legal in New Jersey. It's legal in Pennsylvania. So I think there's a little more public money on them than on other teams, and the wise guys are going the complete opposite way. And yeah, I think you put it perfectly. The biggest obstacle here is I think the Cowboys win this division, which I think will be the real roadblock here for the Eagles to get 10 wins, especially since you can never trust Wentz's health, and they're so reliant on him on offense that I really, and losing a leader like Malcolm Jenkins plays a big part in this. Yeah, it'd be risky to take that over. Interesting, though, to see that difference. And another almost similar difference we're seeing in the Giants, another team that's going to get a lot of action in New Jersey and what have you. The public likes the Giants over 6. The wise guys like the Giants under 6 by quite a bit. Almost the same thing where they're complete opposites.
That comes into our fade Daniel Jones argument, but under 6 is really low. I don't know if I would like the under there.
New coaching staff, though, you feel there'll be some growing pains with how young that team is. Yeah, we'll see. The Giants are an interesting one.
I feel like Saquon can like will you to 4 wins on his own, and then just a couple of other guys have to pull it through. Like Daniel Jones has 3 good games in there.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, 6 is right. Maybe you buy a half win. I would like 6.5 better.
Okay, let's move on to the next part here. We'll stay in the NFL, and this one's interesting. This was the headline of the show. MVP splits. MVP splits in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And this one blows my mind. I'll just start with the Broncos angle here. So Drew Lock is 70-1 to win MVP this season. The highest of anyone on this list here. Yet Drew Lock, and maybe it's a combination of Broncos fans and listeners of Cal and Cowherd.
Yes.
Drew Lock getting more percentage of the money and more percentage of the bets than reigning MVP Lamar Jackson. What's happening?
Yeah, what is the deal? Lamar at plus 700, not even the highest odds of all.
No.
On a team where you're going to have a bunch of continuity too. So Lamar seems to be getting not a bunch of respect. But yeah, Drew Lock seems to be kind of a value bet that people like all around, because that's the book, right? Is that second year quarterback who kind of sat on the bench most of their rookie seasons going to come in and win MVP, similar to what we've seen in back-to-back seasons with Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And we certainly hope that's the case.
Look, I'm like the biggest Drew Lock guy out there, and I'm just not. Sure. I've said it. I've said he's a dart. He could be the next one of these guys. It's possible. I also think Kyler Murray could be the next one of these guys. Yeah. Now, just keep in mind, DraftKings doesn't even think he's going to throw for 3,500. Well, I shouldn't say they don't think that. They set the line for him to throw under 3,500 yards and under 21 touchdowns. Not only does that not get you even in the MVP conversation, that's like bottom tier of the NFL type of stuff. So again, I'm not saying that Drew Lock has no shot at winning MVP. Here's what I am saying, though. We gave out a couple Drew Lock props way back when. Yes. If you're confident in Drew Lock, that's where you should be putting your money. I realize it's enticing to be able to put down $100 and win $70,000 or $7,000, I should say. That sounds great. I'm just saying, if you're really confident in Drew Lock, the bets to take is the over on passing yards, which I hope you got in on it when we gave it out, because we told you it'd go up, and it went up.
Yep.
It went from 33.75 to 34.50. So we're up 75 yards. I'm still telling you to give it out. I would take. I don't know what number I would take it up to, but a lot higher than this. Mm-hmm. And so go ahead and get in on Drew Lock over 34.50.5, and then I haven't actually looked at the touchdowns, so let me make sure those are the same. Up? That has gone up 1 touchdown as well. Ooh. So again, got to listen to us. You got to be listening to the show before the lines go up. And again, I still feel very confident in this number. All the way up to 25 is when I would start saying, "Oh, that's getting up there." But I still think he clears that. So over 21.5. That's I get that. Colorado bettors just got in on this. They're having a lot of fun with it, and they want to get in on their team and their guy and all these guys. Just channel it to the right areas. You got to go to the right areas. Take the over on yards, over on touchdowns for Drew Lock. That's where you should be channeling this Drew Lock excitement. Almost by principle,
I think I stand against your stance of not going after the big underdog bet. I don't know, like Kyler's the fourth best value here, 10% of the bets, 11%, or 10% of the money, 11% of the bets. And, his over-under passing touchdowns is 24.5. And his MVP odds are plus 2,500.
Yeah, so almost a third of what Drew's are.
Right.
I guess I'm just so I've been talking about this, and I say that these prop bets are investments. And to me, I want the investment that's going to pay me back. And so, yes, is it not a guarantee that those overs are going to hit that I just gave out? Of course not. But if I'm making an investment, I'm looking at this as, I have a chance to double my money here in 6 months, and everyone feels great about any investment that doubles their money in 6 months. Do you feel much better about one that gives you 70 times your money in 6 months? Of course, but the chances of you coming back with nothing are a lot higher. So,
right.
I just have a hard time trying to encourage people to take that bet. You're talking about Drew Lock versus every player in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, all of these guys. You're talking about the best players in the NFL versus Drew Lock, who's made 5 starts. Is it possible? But I just wouldn't encourage it. But speaking of not encouraging it, what is going on here? Tom Brady, the number one of all the money is coming in on Tom Brady. Yes, it's plus 1,600, which I think is the reason here. It's the biggest name with the highest odds, right? Well, I guess Drew Brees is 2,500 and Aaron Rodgers is plus 3,000. So it's not even the highest odds.
Yep.
It's 4 times the odds that you get on Patrick Mahomes, who is second here. But by a wide margin, 16% of the money is coming in on Tom Brady to win MVP. Did anyone watch Tom Brady last year?
Yeah, and realize this is a guy who needs to adjust to a new offense that on paper does not seem to fit his skills at all, and consider all the factors in play with a shortened off season here. I mean, I get that it feels like decent value here, but I don't get this at all, even with the name brand. I mean, Brady's not going to even put up the stats necessary to warrant being, a top 3 MVP finalist. He hasn't been in forever. This really is a guy who's almost never, aside from the record-breaking season they had where they went 16-0, has really never been in the MVP conversation, as crazy as it sounds. The much better value here seems to be Drew Brees, where there's the largest discrepancy between public money and wise guy money, with 10% of the money going to him at plus 2,500 here, which is quite intriguing, I'd say. But man,
there's only I mean, it's asinine. Everyone wants to buy into this story of Tom Brady goes to Tampa and just lights things up again, and it's just like, have you seen the guy? Have you watched this guy play? He's declining quickly. Especially if you look at the second half of last season, it was ugly for him out there. There's only 3 players here that I would put my money on, and they are Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Kyler Murray. I think one of those 3 guys is going to win MVP.
You do, huh? You really think it comes down to those guys?
I sure do.
That's interesting. I'm intrigued by Dak Prescott, who has gotten as much action as Drew Lock, by the way. And Josh Allen at plus 1,400, which is another.
Drew Lock's got as much percent of the bets as Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, and Josh Allen, and more than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's crazy to think.
Why is everyone so ready to bail on Lamar Jackson? I'm confused by that.
Yeah, I don't get it either, because with the continuity, and that's a guy who they have added more weapons, and you really think, this is a guy who came into the league at barely 21, so I think he's got a little more upside than some of these guys like Baker or Joe Burrow who come in where they're already like 23, So, yeah, I don't get it on Lamar. I'd have a hard time putting money on Mahomes at plus 400. I don't love that value anyways, but Kyler and Lamar would be intriguing. I'm surprised Deshaun Watson isn't on here. If there's someone who puts his team on his back and just has that one season, kind of like Matt Ryan a couple years ago, where it's like, dang, they just rode him to being a top 3 seed and he's going to get the MVP. Deshaun might be the guy that I'd go to, and maybe he's just not getting very favorable odds. Let me double check here.
And Deshaun is really just the light version of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson should be on this list.
Yep. At plus 800, though, not as good value as Deshaun at plus 2,500. I like Deshaun here. I might have to place some money on Deshaun, a little birthday gift to myself as soon as we go off air here.
All right. Do your thing.
Hey.
Real quick, just to put a bow on this, in Colorado, Drew Lock getting 24% of the money. Patrick Mahomes only getting 12% of the money. Tom Brady getting 11% of the money. But bets-wise, Drew Lock getting 25% of the bets. Patrick Mahomes getting 6% of the bets. Tom Brady getting 3% of the bets. And, of course, New Hampshire is all over Tom Brady. And apparently Indiana really likes Drew Brees, the old Purdue boy.
Purdue, baby. Yep. Go Boilermakers.
So, just interesting stuff. The most interesting thing to me was that we told you guys that the Drew Lock numbers were going to go up, and they went up. And the other thing we told you is that the Broncos win total is going to go up. It should be going up. I don't know. It's not. I think it will. It must eventually if it just keeps staying on this path, unless they're just going to cross their fingers over there. So
yeah, and I like that Drew Lock's passing touchdowns are going up because that means the sportsbook might have become a bigger believer in Judy Sutton receiving touchdowns, which we've sprinkled some action on as well with those props. So everything looking good for us.
Very true. Last one here quickly is to the NHL, where the Avs are getting more percentage of the public money, of the public bets than any other team in the NHL at plus 750. And what's crazy is you can get double that on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. If you go in there, you get a little odds boost. Avs plus 1,500 if you want to get in on that. Like I said, 15% of the bets are in on that, which is third in terms of the money. Capitals getting 14% of the money. Flyers getting 14% of the money. And then the Avs are getting 12% of the money.
Yeah, what's really interesting here is the wise guys seem to like the Penguins a lot more than the public does. There's a 10% to 7% discrepancy there, and Penguins a team that AJ came on right away as we kind of found out about the new season or how they'll finish this playoff format with the NHL. That's one of the first teams he mentioned. The Capitals, though, wise guys really liking them. They're getting the largest percent of money bet on them, but a pretty low percentage of bets on them. Only 5% of the bets on DraftKings compared to the Avs, who are getting 15% of the bets. So that's another team where the wise guys seeing some nice value here. And honestly, at plus 900, I might be intrigued by the Caps as well.
Yeah, the Caps are interesting. Pittsburgh, like you mentioned, that was the one that AJ gave out. That one's really hard to ignore for me just because they are the team with all that experience. They have Sidney Crosby. They've been there, done that. It's one of those teams that, man, when you get into the playoffs, you most certainly do not want to face them. So that's pretty interesting there for me.
All right, these are teams that can just turn it on, They're veteran teams who can turn it on. The lack of rest or continuity, I don't think will affect them as much.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, should we get into our KBO picks here for the night? You got your birthday luck on your side. Let's see what you got.
Let's hope. Okay, Bears Wiz have a terrible pitching matchup tonight. So I am hammering that over, even though it's set at 13. The pitchers are both above 7 ERA on both sides. Feel confident in this, and this is a matchup that last night was 11-8. So, and with better pitchers, so I like this a lot. Giants Tigers, another horrendous pitching matchup with two fairly high-scoring teams, especially the Giants, who need to get back on a roll after just scoring 2 runs last night. That's only 8.5. I feel very good about that. And I'm settling in with 3 bets here because I'm staying away from the Wyverns, and I'm taking the Heroes, who are going against the Eagles stud pitcher. This is one of the best pitchers in the KBO, Warwick Seppold. He's not Korean, so one of those international signings, almost making $1 million per season. Consistently one of the better pitchers in the KBO the last 2 years. He's pitching for the Eagles, which means for the Heroes, I am taking the under 5.5.
Under 5.5. I like that. That's a tasty bet there. Okay. Might get in on that later, but I don't have time to get in on it now. I'm giving you Twins Lions, I think after the quiet night last night, I think we're going to get a little bit more of an offensive explosion tonight. Twins, Lions, over 8.5, pretty low number there.
Yep.
Giants, Tigers, over 8.5. I like that one as well. And then I'm going to take Deuce on Bears, minus 130 on the money line to just beat KT Wiz. That 13 number, that's one of those carrots that I've vowed to stay away from. I'm not going to let them trick me into taking the lines. It feels like every time we get one of those, it's gone against me. So I'll let you have that one. Maybe it'll go the right way for you. I'll just say the Bears beat up on the Wiz poor pitcher more than the Wiz can beat up on Doosan's poor pitcher, and they get the dub there.
I like it. Sound reasoning.
So those are the picks for tonight. Really interesting conversation today. It's fun to know what the rest of the world is doing. And again, don't hesitate on those Drew Lock props. They're only going to keep going up. So
invest now.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us today on DNVR Bets Daily. A happy birthday to Andre, and good luck tonight. Hopefully you get some birthday wins. We'll talk to you guys later. As you guys know, we're working with DraftKings Sportsbook, so make sure you download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use the code DNVR when you sign up. For a limited time, all new users can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. The deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough and restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.